The single most basic rule of football is whoever scores more goals wins the match. But that's not going to be the case in this video, because if you score first, you're out. Alright, the rules are simple. Here we have two identical wheels with the best 128 teams in FC 24. We will then spin both of these wheels on the screen to get to see which two teams play. And here we get Luton versus Valencia. And then depending on the popularity of the two teams, we'll either watch them play a kickoff match or we'll quick sim it, just like what we're going to do here. And Valencia scores first. So Valencia's out, Luton stays on. Pretty simple concept. 1-0 is the enemy. So the team who hasn't scored by the end of this video will be crowned champions. Now, this is how we're going to keep track of all the teams. The team that gets eliminated gets grayed out. These are the best rated 128 teams in FC 24. If your team's not on here, they're not in FC 24. One thing to note with Brazilian teams though, you can't use them in tournament mode. Otherwise, they're in FC 24. That's why they're not going to be in this video, unfortunately. I apologize. All right, now that we got all that out of the way, let's keep spinning the wheels and get our second matchup. And this time we get West Ham United versus Espanyol. Who's gonna score first here? And it was West Ham. Ward-Prowse. That means West Ham goes out, and our third matchup is going to be Real Betis versus Udinese. Normally Udinese would be the underdogs, but they're the favorites here. And Real Betis scored first. Borja Iglesias' goal knocks them out. We're moving along nicely here. This is the fourth matchup. It's Roma versus Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim are the favorites. We're gonna quick sim it, and Lukaku knocks Roma out. I'm wondering if we're gonna get a big matchup right here. Racing versus Chelsea. Well, let's see what happens here. We'll watch this one. Chelsea are the underdogs here. Remember, 1-0 is the enemy. And they're looking to make something happen right here. Raheem Sterling knocks Chelsea out. Why are you celebrating? Well, with this goal, goodbye, Chelsea. Oh, Raheem Sterling. With Chelsea gone, this is match number 6 or 7. Union Berlin versus Ajax. This one's tough to predict. They're pretty evenly matched up. And let's see. Who's out? Ajax is out. Forbes scored in the 23rd minute, and it's lights out for Ajax as well. The next match, it's Celta Vigo versus Osasuna. And Osasuna are out. We're down to 121 teams. And the next matchup is Leverkusen versus Juventus. This is a big one. And it would be Juventus getting the first goal with Dusan Vlahovic knocking the Italians out of this tournament. No surprises so far, apart from Osasuna and Celta Vigo. I expect the Celta Vigo to score first. This time, it's going to be Trabzonspor versus Montpellier. We'll quick sim it. And the first team to score were the French, down to 10 men, 9 men afterwards. They managed to win this match. So Trabzonspor knows what's going on. They've got their tactics down. Maybe we'll see them in the finals. With 9 teams gone already, the next teams are Manchester United versus Salernitana. I mean, the way things have been going lately for Manchester United at home, my money's on them. I think Salernitana will score the first goal. But here's Rashford to Højlund. Back to Rashford, and Marcus Rashford, to the demise of his team, puts it in. And look how he's celebrating. Poor guy. Man United just can't catch a break. Next matchup is Club Brugge versus Getafe. And this one goes to Getafe. With Club Brugge out, the next matchup is the Rangers versus Mallorca. Let's see who this one goes to. It goes to the Rangers because Mallorca scored first. They're out. The next two teams, it's Slavia Prague versus PAOK. And Slavia Prague scored the first goal in the 69th minute to knock themselves out. That was a pretty even matchup. So PAOK stays alive. And the next two teams are AEK, another Greek side, versus Neymar's team, Al Hilal. And this contest of two champions went to penalties, but that doesn't matter because there were goals scored, and the first goal was scored by Al Hilal. Sergei Milinkovic-Savic knocks them out, and the Greek champions remain alive. The next two teams are Leeds United versus another Saudi team, Al Ittihad. This one is Benzema's team, and Benzema missed a penalty kick, but they did score the first goal, so they're out. Now, the next match is between Marseille versus Al Nassr, another Saudi team, Cristiano Ronaldo's team. Cristiano Ronaldo's on top form this season. Let's see what happens here. Not much happened in the second half, but here's a cross from Marseille, headed by the Al Nassr player, but it's Kondogbia putting it in. So Ronaldo stays alive and Marseille is knocked out. All right, the next match is Lorient versus Inter Milan. And we're quick simming this one. Inter goes out. Alexis Sanchez scored the goal. No surprise. Now, the next match is Las Palmas versus Bilbao. I think this one's anybody's game. An all-Spanish affair, and it goes to Las Palmas. I was about to say Bilbao. They scored first, so they're out. Down to 110 teams. The next match will be Newcastle versus Stade Rennais. This one's also not very clear, but Stade Rennais you would say are the favorites. Here we go. Quick simming. Who scored first? And Newcastle. Almiron took them out. Which big team will go to the end? I'm really curious about that as we get our next two teams. Las Palmas in action again versus another Spanish team, Sevilla. Let's see if they can survive for a second time. Who's gonna score first? And it looks like Las Palmas is out because they've scored first. They won the match. Sevilla survive. And the next team to play is River Plate and Stuttgart. Well, River Plate survived this one. The first Argentinian team to be featured, and they do, because the man on top form, Guirassi, he scores first to knock his team out. And the next team is Cadiz versus Adana. The Spanish side are the underdogs in this one. They're a 4-star team, but Adana Demirspor scores first, so they're knocked out. And we keep spinning down to 106 teams. The next matchup is Granada versus Copenhagen. Now, between these two, Copenhagen are actually the weaker side, so they're the favorites. It's a Champions League side. They lose the match, but who scored first? And it looks like Copenhagen scored first, so they're out. The next match, AZ Alkmaar versus Sassuolo. And the weaker side, AZ Alkmaar scores first, so they're out. And then the next match is River Plate again versus Rayo Vallecano. River Plate is rated slightly lower, and Rayo Vallecano did score the first goal, so River Plate stays alive. With Rayo Vallecano gone, the next team is Villarreal versus AEK. A lot of Spanish teams being featured, and half of them are gone, but Villarreal isn't. AEK scores first, so Szymanski knocks them out. Let's see if we get another Spanish team here. It's Benfica versus Lazio. This one's also hard to predict. They're both evenly rated, and it looks like, wow, Immobile, by not scoring that penalty kick, he saved his team because Di Maria knocks out Benfica. There are 3 other Portuguese sides. You see them down below. The next team is Almeria versus Crystal Palace, another eagle. Can this one stay alive? Crystal Palace scores the first goal and the only goal. 1-0's the enemy, so they're out. Down to 100 teams. The next match is Liverpool versus Udinese. Can Liverpool shock the world and get scored on first at home? And here comes the Reds. Gakpo. I mean, the Udinese defender, did you guys see what he did? He knows what's going on. But Liverpool also know what's going on because they didn't shoot. So, is it going to end 0-0? No, it's not. Gakpo finally scores. And for some reason, he's celebrating. Don't know what's going on with these teams these days, you know. The whole world's messed up. And Liverpool goes out. Celtic versus Werder Bremen. Super even matchup. Both teams are green and white. Let's see who scores first. And it looks like Celtic did because it's only 1-0. The next two teams are Barcelona versus Luton Town. Guys, at this point, I would be heartbroken if Luton ended up scoring first here. Come on, Barcelona. All right, Barcelona have a free kick. Rafinha. Come on. Gündoğan. İlkay Gündoğan back to Rafinha. Rafinha. Take the shot. Joao Felix. Back to Rafinha. Lewandowski. Yes! Luton stay on. Good job, Leva. Good job. Luton survived for the 5th time, I believe. It's Burnley versus Braga next. And it looks like both sides tried hard not to score, but Burnley finally gave in, and they scored in the 103rd minute, so they're out. Now, our next two teams are Victoria Pilsen versus Nice. Lots of goals in this one, but the most important was scored by Victoria Pilsen, so they're out. 50 teams remain. The next two teams are Feyenoord versus Genoa. And Feyenoord will stay alive again. Genoa scored the first goal. I believe the Dutch side has survived 3 matches so far. Now it's LAFC versus Celta Vigo. So it ends in penalties, 1-1. And the side that conquered Arsenal did score first here, so LAFC are out. And I believe that was also Celta Vigo's 3rd or 4th match that they've survived in. Leipzig versus Aston Villa. This one's super even. And Aston Villa was the first team to score, so they also go out. Our next match is Inter Miami versus Leeds United. It's Lionel Messi's turn. Is Messi even playing? I keep seeing Sergio Busquets. Oh, Messi is playing. So this one's a tough one to predict. Ooh, good pressure from Leeds United. Pirlo to Somerville, and Somerville misses. He should be celebrating, but he missed. Here come Leeds United once again. Pirlo. The pass doesn't get through, but now it's Georgino Rutter. And Rutter scores, knocking Leeds United out. Messi knew the drill. He was missing from the get-go. We didn't even see him in action. And Leeds United are knocked out. There are 28 teams remaining. The bottom is looking really pretty. It's Union Berlin versus Dortmund. And as per usual, things don't go Dortmund's way ever. As Füllkrug found himself in on goal and shot it near post. It hit Renault, but it went in. So Dortmund's out. Next, we've got Başakşehir versus Luton Town. Guys, Başakşehir is actually slightly weaker than Luton. These are the tournament favorites. So we'll let them battle it out on the pitch. We'll watch this one. And it's Başakşehir on the attack. This looks promising. Dubois. And was that a handball? Luton with the tactics. They give away a penalty kick. The ball bounced off of his foot onto his hand. So Dowdy gives away the penalty kick. If Başakşehir score here, they're out. Alexic, and he scores. Luton's through. I believe they've now survived at least 9 matches. If you're keeping track, leave a comment. The next 2 teams are Racing Club Lens and Deportivo Alaves. And Alaves actually managed to hide till now, and they remain in it. A 10-man Lens still managed to win this game. It's incredible how well they hit so far. The next 2 teams are Union Berlin versus Luton. Man, Luton had to go through a lot to get here. Will they still remain? Luton scored in the 89th minute, their only goal. That means they're still alive. Union Berlin scored the first goal. All right, the next match is Celta Vigo versus Udinese. This is another match that deserves to be spectated. Celta Vigo has survived surprisingly well till now. Udinese went through a lot of teams. Let's see who's going to be heartbroken after the first goal in this match. Celta Vigo on the attack. Iago Aspas. Iago Aspas to De La Torre. Back to Iago Aspas. It hits the post. It hits the post, and Celta Vigo survive. That's a good pass from Deulofeu. No offside. Samardzic, he's onside. Samardzic cuts it back to Luka, and Luka scores. Celta Vigo survive. Udinese are out. Guys, this is the final 10. It's interesting that 4 Premier League clubs are still in this final 10, and 2 La Liga sides are in there. Luton Town, Hoffenheim. Luton has easily played the most matches. Let's see if they survive. And they do. Berisha scored in the first minute for Hoffenheim. Incredible. All right, this is the top 9. The next 2 teams are Augsburg versus Wolves. And Augsburg scored the first goal. Wow. All right, it's the final 8. The next 2 teams are Brighton versus Luton. Is this the end of the road for Luton Town? It's incredible how many times this wheel picked them out. Let's see. 3-all. And they're still alive because Mitoma scored the first goal. 7 teams remain. The next match will be the Wolves versus Sparta Prague. Sparta Prague are slightly better than Luton. They're rated 73, 72, 74. Let's see who scored first. And it was the Wolves. So the Wolves are finally gone. Now looking at this final 6, Fiorentina is the highest rated team with 78 overall. Celta Vigo 76 overall. Bournemouth is 75. Sparta Prague and Alaves are 73. Luton 72. Let's see the next match. It's Luton versus Fiorentina. We're gonna spectate this match. And also, guys, if I had to say at this point which team deserves it the most based on the skill they have versus their ability to not score the first goal, I think I would pick Celta Vigo. Their rate is 76 overall with a 79 rated attack, and they never scored the first goal so far. Oh, and it's not looking good for Luton. They have a great chance here, and the goalkeeper keeps Luton's hopes alive. Guys, believe it or not, but it looks like this one's gonna go to penalties. It's crazy. It's the 121st minute and the ref blows the whistle. And Luton's gonna take the first penalty, and Morris won't score because the goalkeeper saves it to keep Luton alive, and Fiorentina's still in it. Now it's Brown, and he scores, and the dream is over for Luton. What a run. What a run. That was like 10 or 11 matches. Insane. Wasn't meant to be. Now here we are with the final 5. The next teams are Sparta Prague versus... Can't be Sparta Prague. Let's get a different team. And it's Deportivo Alaves. And Sparta Prague scores the first goal, so the Czechs are out. Well, 4 teams remain. The next match is Celta Vigo versus Fiorentina. The battle of the 2 best teams. This one's gonna be good. And it's Fiorentina looking to get things going early or go home early. Enzola, and he scores, sending Fiorentina home. That goal was probably quicker than Bayern's goal. Celta Vigo remain in it, Bournemouth's in it, and Deportivo Alaves are in it. And those 2 teams, Deportivo versus Bournemouth, are gonna play next. This also means Celta Vigo's in the final. Is it gonna go to the English or is it gonna go to the Spanish? Here come Bournemouth. Cook. The pressure's on. Tavernier. That's a great move. And unfortunately for Bournemouth, that's a great goal. So we're gonna have an all-Spanish finale. Down from 128 teams to these final 2. And it's kind of funny how they've been side by side down here the whole time. We're gonna play this one as a Champions League finals match. Maybe that'll change things. I don't know. And with the kickoff, we'll watch it live. Iago Aspas, De La Torre, Celta Vigo got us started. Deportivo Alaves with the ball. Yanis Hagi. He finds Gorosabel. Back to Hagi. Takes the shot. It's blocked. Here come Alaves again. It's Blanco. Blanco finds Sola. Sola, that's a good pass. Haji, it hits the post. It hits the post. Celta Vigo almost won it all right there. Yanis Haji with the ball. He looks dangerous. If anyone's gonna score, it's gonna be Haji, I think. Rioja, and he lost the ball. Now here comes Celta Vigo, and that's a shot off target. Iago Aspas, Perez. Iago Aspas does not shoot, and the first half comes to an end. It's 0-0. Now in the second half, Celta Vigo with a chance. Iago Aspas, that's good ball movement, but Perez doesn't shoot, so he saves his team. Who's gonna win this? Yanis Haji, good rotation. It's Sola. Now, Alaves, what's going on there? Did the ref just give a penalty kick? Manu Sanchez with a late tackle. The ref points to the penalty spot. And it's gonna be Rioja to take it. And he scores! Celta Vigo are the winners of this video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And here's another video that you might enjoy. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.